Hello, Deacon Eric here. Get this pipe bowl lit. Usually kind of gotta light it twice. I want to read you another portion. Oh, Kahlil Gibran, the prophet. I did this a couple weeks ago on houses. This is the section on children. There's something important here. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself," and life is capital A. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. That's true. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer, and I would put a capital A here, the archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Yeah. I like that. Your children are not yours. They're the good creators. And he is the archer. But arrows will fly true if you have a good, stable bow. If you have a good bow that is stable and strong, yet can bend, right? Integrity. The integrity of like a structure is its strength, but also its flexibility, its ability to move with circumstances. And so that's why the bond of marriage is the most vital part of this. Man and woman bonded together in the hand of the archer. In the hand of the archer. And he takes the arrow and he holds that bow. And if they're in his hand together and he pulls it to his eye, where what he sees, and he aims them. But it's men and women together. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, is actually not so much about children and parenting. I think it applies. But before you start with children, you got to start with the parents. It's even Psalm 127 that says that children are arrows. It says they're like arrows in a man's quiver. But it doesn't say he has a bow. I think he's part of the bow. But here's the reason. The reason part of why I want to talk about this is because I want to, again, and I've said it before, talk about why I am complementarian and not egalitarian in the sense of men and women. Men and women complement each other. They're not the same, which is what egalitarianism is. And the reason we as a culture will value egalitarianism and not complementarianism is because we think when you're saying complementarianism, you're creating a kind of unequal hierarchy. And there may be a hierarchy in one sense, absolutely, because there is, right? Not every man's the president. Not every man's the leader. But no man is a mother. No man. There ain't a man on this planet, whether he cuts his thing off or not, that can birth a baby. Not. And it's just that way. But here's part of the problem. Here's part of the issue. The issue is that our culture only has value for the masculine things. But I thought we were all feminists. Clearly not. Not if trans whatever dudes dressing as women can now usurp women's places. The problem with our culture, feminism talks about femininity, but they don't actually value femininity. Here's the issue. Feminism values the power and the authority, the money, all the stuff that comes with masculinity. And so they valued the masculine traits, the masculine things. And they arbitrarily said, women are the same. But to do that, to raise women up to equal to the masculine, you had to get rid of the feminine. And so feminism is misogynist. And it destroys femininity. And the problem with like the manosphere and all these other jerks, Andrew Tate and others, is they're living in a feminist world where the only thing that is of value is masculine. So that's all they're going for. They're stupid, immature boys. They have no value for women. They're just an object. They're just a thing that they masturbate into. It's shocking, but it's true. These jerks, they're not making love to these women. They're not in a good, deep covenant relationship that produces life. They're just doing the act. Right? It's still pornography. It's fake. It's not real. It's not the fullness of what God made us to be. And it ticks me off. I meet these jerks, and they are the epitome of what feminism thinks the masculine is, and they're not. So, get riled up. Feminism tries to bring masculinity down. It tries to say it's all evil, while at the same time valuing it and trying to take it and be it and shedding off their femininity, right? Because it's still the seed of the woman versus the seed of the serpent. And the true femininity just gets thrown out again. So we value the masculine, and we say if women are to be of any worth, they got to be like a man. That is ridiculous. And we don't value women for being women, for bringing life, for growing children in their bodies. It's crazy. There's freaking miracles happening, and we're either killing it because we hate them, because we see children as a burden, or we're saying it's slavery, and and it's like all this other crazy stuff. We don't value women, right? And feminism is born out of this age, the height of the colonial period, the Victorian age, when all when the West is going everywhere and in a sense conquering things, and some of it's good and some of it's bad. That's a different argument. And women were more and more being regulated only to the home, because men and women were not together. The Industrial Revolution, technology was pulling us apart as human beings, mechanizing everything. Like I said before, it was putting death away. Everything was unseen, and you were just walking around in you were just play acting, right? Much of the Victorian era, there's some cool stuff, but there's also just this like all the stories and everything is just people that they're not living in reality. And then you get these people. And the thing is, it's like it's a result of the peace, the peace and the stability of Western culture, which is totally great. It gave some people the ability to do nothing of true value. And so they had to put value in just their ideas, and they come up with stupid ideas that they think are smart. And they're upset, but they're just lazy. And that's the problem with elites, right? With these super rich people. And it creates, and out of this comes toxic stuff. Communism and feminism and racism. Most of the racism comes out of the Enlightenment, out of modernism. It wasn't an ancient thing. Slavery was, but there was all kinds of slaves. Dark slaves and light slaves. That didn't make any difference. A conquered people was a conquered people, no matter what your color was. Right? The Irish would enslave the British, and then the English would enslave the Irish, and the Vikings would enslave the Irish, and whoever they get their hands on. It didn't matter what color they were. It wasn't a racist thing. It was just the wickedness of man. And out of the Enlightenment, and it's twofold. There's all this good stuff happening, but there's also this wickedness happening. So all these isms come out of modernism and a trying to divorce ourselves away from the church and away from Christ. Because the further we get away from Genesis 1, man and woman made in his image, right? It's the enemy raging. Because I might be physically stronger than a woman, but no amount of strength I have will make me as amazing and as beautiful as my wife. It's not happening. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't know how smart I am. It doesn't matter what I read. I cannot bring those. Like I do my part. I plant my seed in the soil of her womb. And God does a miracle through her. And God did it through, he himself became a man through a woman. To save the whole human race. That's all I got to say about it. Men and women aren't the same, But man, it's beautiful. It's all I gotta say. It's a beautiful thing when a man and a woman are in a marriage and they're the express image of Christ in His church. It's the most beautiful relationship. Fathers and parents and children. It's a beautiful thing. But it comes out of marriage, out of the ultimate reality that God created His own bride, and that He fought for her, and He's going to be united to her, and that everything, all of time, ends in what? What is the fulfillment of all time? The wedding feast of the Lamb. That's the gospel. That's the good news. Why does the enemy hate marriage? Why does he hate men and women? He's trying to destroy them both. So feminism, communism, eugenics, all this other baloney in our modern world, it's trying to destroy the family. So anything that comes against the family of husband and wife, mother and father, raising their children, being humble and flexible in the hands of the Lord, and launching those children into the infinite future, and so on and so forth, that is of the devil, and I reject it outright. I reject feminism. I reject the manosphere. I reject the modern experiment. It's a bunch of satanic malarkey. Forget it. Put your hope in Jesus Christ. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He shine His face upon you and give you His rest. Enter into His rest. Meet the Creator and find out who you really are. God bless you.